Hi, we're here in Wilmslow at the Muamba household with Shauna Muamba, who's just released a new range of sauces. So, Shauna, introduce us to the sauces, tell us a little bit more about them.
Well, I was raised in Jamaica, so food is a huge part of our culture in Jamaica. I love to eat food, as you can see. And literally, I started off catering for players, and it literally evolved from that. But my inspiration is just getting good, authentic food out there to people. I think Caribbean cuisine is quite niche, but people are really curious about it. So I thought, why not do it and let everybody experience it, you know? So that's what the inspiration was.
That's really cool. And what flavours can we expect then in the range at the moment? We've got five different
We've
sauces.
got 5 different ranges, and it's different heat gradients because I can't handle my chilli. Some people can, so it starts off mild with barbecue. Then we've got sweet and spicy, which is a twist on a classic sweet and sour. Then we've got Caribbean curry. And then we've got brown stew, and lastly we've got the heat fire hot pot, which is a joke. Yeah, I'm scared of the joke. But I don't know, maybe you'd love it.
Cool. And do you have a particular favourite yourself out of the range then, or?
I think if I were to pick my favourite, it would probably be sweet and spicy, because it's sweet but then it has that subtle kick. It's not too or barbecue, but it's just because I'm a heat wimp, you know, that's why. So I think it's a 50-50 between sweet and spicy and barbecue.
And which supermarkets have taken up the range so far?
So far we've got confirmation with Asda and Booths supermarket, which is both in the northwest, which sometimes I think you have to grow organically. We've been in talks with other supermarkets. I don't want to jinx it and say who, but I do think we'll be on a few other shelves pretty soon. So everything is happening. For me though, I'd prefer to build my business organically and take it step by step, as opposed to having a national boom and not being able to actually personally go in store, greet my customer, let them know what I'm about. I'm an integral part of the actual brand, so for me it's better this way, to tip my toes in slowly. I started as a one-man band in my kitchen, so I don't want to get too big too quick.
You're going to be supporting a good cause. Which one is that?
Completely. Arrhythmia Alliance is close to our heart. When Fab was at Bolton, he actually came on board with a campaign called Hearts and Goals. And what they really want to do is have defibrillators publicly accessible to everyone. Now, some people know, some people don't, but a defibrillator saved my husband's life. They're very important. Having a defib, literally statistically, could be the difference between being in a vegetative state or actually having a full recovery. So they're really important, and so many people have undetected heart problems. My husband is a prime example. He's a professional athlete who got regularly tested and still it wasn't detected. So it's a really important cause, and we collaborated with them so that the sale of every jar, a monetary donation will go to them. So it's not based on profit or loss, or like some people say 10% of profits and stuff like that. It's based on sales. Even if I make a loss personally, Arrhythmia Alliance will still receive a monetary donation towards getting defibs everywhere, and hopefully if world domination happens for me, then defibs will be everywhere, so that's the plan.
Brilliant, that's good. And obviously it's an important thing, like you say, because quite a few people are unable to access that kind of medical treatment rapidly. So to get them more out there and closer to people where they need them.
Think about how often you go into a supermarket and how many different age groups go in there. At least once a week you're in some kind of supermarket, whether it's your local, your express, wherever. So it's weird that they're not actually in all the supermarkets. Asda have just taken on 600, which is amazing, and they're one of the stores we're launching in as well. So it's a great thing.
I suppose 2 years on, your family's had to think about quite a serious thing that's happened. Obviously, it's in the media as well, so quite a lot of attention was focused on it during that time.
Yeah.
Has that had any bearing upon some of the decisions you've made since? Do you think, as a family or individually, or?
I think when we went through it, because I've got a media background, when we went through it, I knew I didn't want that intrusion upon my family, so there wasn't much during the time that he was in hospital. As a family, it puts a lot of things into perspective. You appreciate things a lot more, but you also take leaps of faith a lot more. For us as a family, it's made us appreciate life a lot more, but it's also let us be more spontaneous and live in the moment, because you never know what could happen in the next hour. Yeah.
brilliant. And the sauces are actually named as well, you know, after yourself, Mrs. Muamba. So.
Yeah, so it makes sense. So I do want that personal touch, and I don't want people to feel like it's something that I've just churned out, you know, because of the situation that we are in and what's happened. You know, I was a caterer before this. I had a company and I cooked food, so I'm not just thought, what can I do now? Let me make some sauces. This is someone who's credible and it is an authentic product. I spent 10 years of my life in Jamaica. I went to school there, so yeah, I can cook. Girl can cook.
And in terms of the recipes and things, you know, what do you expect people to be, you know, using your sauces for? What would they be cooking?
Do you know what? I think what I love about my sauces is the versatility. On the website, we've actually had recipe options that you can actually dibble and dabble for yourself. But I think the beauty of the sauces is that you can cook them with meats, protein, you know, ribs, beef, lamb. For me, it's really exciting. I'd love at some point to have a campaign where people literally show me how they cook theirs. I even use the brown stew and make a shepherd's pie, and it's completely random. It's almost like Caribbean, British fusion kind of thing. But I feel like the sky's the limit. As long as you love food, they're so versatile, you can do what you want with them. And make sure that it actually tasted homemade and authentic still, because that's what I wanted to come through. I wanted you to have that Caribbean experience, but actually it's one of those items where you can show off to your friend and say, hey, look what I did. And I would want them to wonder, did she do that from scratch, or did you get a bit of help kind of thing? So we wanted that homemade feeling to come through, and I think we've cracked it.
So yeah, what about the sauce range itself then? What other plans have you got there? Are there other flavours in the pipeline, or maybe some other products, you know, based on the Caribbean theme?
Yeah, we really want to diversify. I envision this brand encompassing the Caribbean, possibly a rice to go with it, or some snacks, maybe some sweet potato chips, some banana plantain chips, and you know what, you have your nibbles before. But eventually I'd love for the person or the consumer to have a Mrs. Muamba's experience from starters straight down to dessert. That is what would be the ultimate for me. So yeah, you know, chugging along, we'll see. It's only new, you know. When I started developing the sauces, it was about a year and a bit ago, last year.
So yeah, obviously it is quite a new business still, but you know, you've been quite a journey already. What kind of things, what tips or what advice would you give to somebody who's, you know, perhaps, you know, similar to yourself, you know, cooking in the kitchen, so on, who was interested in, I don't know, perhaps starting up a catering business, or maybe, you know, developing a range? You know, what kind of things would you say to them? What things maybe have you learned along the way?
I think as a business person, you have to be realistic. Know who your target audience is. Know what you're trying to put out there, what you're trying to convey. With my brand, you know, even little things, I was really particular, you know, as you know, I'm really particular about the branding, you know, stuff like the logo itself, it's a heart, that connotates the Rhythm Alliance. That was done on purpose for the link with the heart. And even the shape of the bottle itself, it's curved like a woman. Some people realise it, some people don't. That was done intentionally as well. And even the fact that Mrs. Muamba has no specific ethnicity, she is just her. I wanted it to encompass everyone. For me, this is for everyone. This is not just for Caribbean people. This is for anyone who enjoys food and wants to experience an amazing culinary experience. It's like that. I think also you have to believe in yourself and your product. If you're going to do it, you have to believe in it, because if you don't, how are you going to convince a buyer or anyone else to take it from you? And lastly, I think you should just live in the moment and go for it. Take a leap of faith and go for it. That would be my advice.
Okay, well, it's been lovely speaking to you. We'd like to find out then where people can buy the sauces, how much they are, and so on. So you tell us.
Completely affordable, so you don't have to break the bank to buy a jar of my sauce. We retail at $2.49, so you need to get a jar. They're available now, so pop down to your local Booths or Asda and go pick up a jar and support the cause.
Fantastic, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me, it was lovely having you here.